U.S. soldier pledged allegiance to ISIS gets nasty surprise when Trump finds him 6 years later. Obama did a considerable amount of damage to our country during his time in office as he used his position as president to further the cause of Islam across the planet. Releasing terrorists from Gitmo, changing our military's rules of engagement so soldiers couldn't fire on Muslims, and creating ISIS were just part of his acts of treason against our country, as he also worked to get Muslim Brotherhood operatives positions at the highest level of our government. While he is now thankfully out of office, we're now learning about the sick way Obama infiltrated our military with Muslim terrorists. But that Trump is commander-in-chief, his FBI agents are cracking down hard on these infiltrators, sending the clear message that treason against our country will no longer be tolerated. Obama understood fully that to infiltrate our country with Muslims he had to do it very stealthily, as patriots across America were constantly calling him out right and left for his acts of treason. One of his tactics was to make changes to how our military operated, where in addition to making it a war crime for our military forces to fire upon the enemy in some cases, he made special provisions so Muslims could openly practice Sharia law, where hijabs and beards were allowed to be worn as part of the military uniform. But unfortunately, the insanity didn't end there. Now we're relearning that soldiers openly pledging allegiance to ISIS were allowed to stay serving in our armed forces, as Obama's top generals played political correctness games with the lives of Americans in order to prove that they were not Islamophobic. ICACA Eric Kang was very open about his allegiance to ISIS and talked candidly with fellow soldiers about his support for jihad against the United States and was in constant contact with top-ranking ISIS terrorist Anwar al-Awlaki. But for reasons that defy all logic, this ISIS terrorist was allowed to serve in the army for another 6 years, as the military and Obama's FBI tried to blame his behavior on PTSD. Completely ignoring the incredible threat that he posed not only to his unit, but to his country. What's even more alarming is even after confessing his allegiance to ISIS terrorists, he was allowed to deploy to Iraq in 2011, where it's a miracle that he didn't get soldiers in his unit killed. The Daily Mail has more. A U.S. soldier who was arrested for ties to ISIS pledged allegiance to the terror group as early as 2011, authorities have said. ICACA Eric Kang, who reportedly won the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, is accused of giving U.S. military documents and training to the terrorist group. Kang, 34, continued to serve in the army for years after expressing support for ISIS as the military and the FBI investigated to determine whether he posed a threat, authorities said. Kang's father Clifford has since said his son, who was deployed to Iraq in 2011 and Afghanistan in 2013, may have been suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Clifford Kang told Honolulu TV station KHON and a Star Advertiser newspaper he became concerned after his son's return from Afghanistan and that he had become withdrawn. He also said his son started studying the Islamic faith a couple of years ago during one of his deployments. While Kang might have gotten away with his antics under Obama, President Trump's FBI have been following up on the case, going undercover in recent weeks where Kang declared to an undercover agent that he wanted to hook up with ISIS and kill a bunch of people. He was arrested over the weekend at his home, where an FBI affidavit filed in federal court revealed that this isn't the first time that Kang has threatened to hurt or kill service members, as he has been making these types of threats since 2011. What's completely appalling is that the Army revoked Kang's security clearance back in 2012, but for whatever reason, reinstated it the following year. Retired Army judge and prosecutor Colonel Gregory Gross spoke about the case and was astonished and perplexed that the military would allow the Muslim soldier to remain serving even after pledging allegiance to the Islamic State. Kang's father was shocked to hear about his son's connection to ISIS, saying, "Nobody told me anything. This is the first time I heard about it. I am kind of stunned to tell you the truth. I never heard of him being with ISIS." Obama's fingerprints are all over this, as we heard countless horror stories of top military generals being fired by Obama for refusing to adhere to his BS. It is very likely that Kang's leadership were given directives from the top not to go after this Muslim soldier. There needs to be a full investigation of Kang's chain of command at this point, and everyone who ignored Kang's terroristic threats need to be brought up on charges of treason. Aiding and abetting the enemy of the United States is the textbook definition of treason, and allowing this soldier to openly stay in the military knowing what he was plotting to kill our soldiers is something that needs to be dealt with severely. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe Breaking News 365 channel. Goodbye and see you again.